Sir, you need to see this.
Knock first! I told you, boy, to knock first!
I'm sorry, sir, but it's just that we have a major problem. There's a YouTube channel, you know, on the internet, and they just reviewed our show.
Mother of God.
I'm afraid it gets worse, sir. Not only did the guy seem to like it, but he also put a link to where people could watch it legally. You know, the part where we make money. I don't even know how to say the next part, sir. It's just too horrible. In this video, you know, the one where he heaps praise on our show that he liked, well, this monster actually wanted to show people what the show looked like.
Hello, YouTube. I need you to take this sumbitch down.
Welcome back to Alcohol and Anime Night, the show that gets you drunker, the show that gets you fatter, and the show that is apparently so popular, even Aniplex watches. That's right, we've got our very first copyright strike, and no, we're not bitter about it at all. We're just actually going to call this the copyright strike special, and it's going to be delightful. But to hear the whole story, it would be a bit lengthy. However, if you'd like to see the video that was so egregious that YouTube had to pull it down, there is a link to it below on my Rumble account, where it is still located, so you can see how terrible this video was that was so awful that it had to be pulled from the internet entirely and memory hold, so that way it could never be seen by anybody, except for those of you who view the link below. Anyway, tonight we're going to do a few different things. We are going to review anime, of course. We are going to review a new drink, of course. And we're going to get to unboxing this Megatron figure, which I have been waiting for some time. And as you'll see, it's going to tie in here. So let's mix things up a little bit and go straight for our alcohol for the evening. Tonight, we are talking about a new beverage called Mike's Hard Freeze. And contrary to what the name says, it is not a beverage that you freeze, and please don't do that. It is available in several different flavors. I'm drinking the blue flavor here. There is a pink, a white, and a red, and those flavors represent the slushy flavors, or slurpy flavors, however you might say it. And so if you have a favorite slushy or slurpy from your childhood or from a few days ago, whenever you decide to get them, these drinks almost perfectly mimic that taste. Now, again, you're not supposed to freeze them. However, as you might see here, I've got some crushed ice in mine. It's melted a bit more, but I really recommend putting these over crushed ice and drinking them. Be careful. They are so sugary and so sweet, you will forget there's alcohol in them and find yourself about 3 or 4 deep in these. So I absolutely recommend these for the summer. Absolutely recommend these for around the pool. I absolutely recommend them for your 4th of July party. So come by, drink up. So good. Once it hits your lips. So good once it hits your lips. Now, our anime for tonight is an older show from the very early 90s called Luna Varga. Now, since YouTube is just so concerned with not being able to show even a glimpse of what something looks like because they're not quite sure how fair use works, I guess we're going to do this particular review without any type of visual aids, video aids, I should say. Video aids sounds like a terrible thing to contract. We're going to do it strictly by me telling you, and you can tell me in the comments below whether you would prefer to see video or would you just like to have some drunk guy tell you about it. But either way, we're going to do it this way. Now, before I get started with the review, I am on a bit of a quest. I never really expected the channel to kind of blow up or anything like that. But I did have a bit of a personal goal, and I wanted to get to 100 subscribers. And right now we're somewhere in the mid-40s or something like that. And I thought, well, it's not that far away. So if you like what you see here and it's not a big inconvenience, click over and subscribe. And I think you're going to like it. And at least if you hate it, you have the opportunity to comment below and tell me how much you hate it. I've really taken a lot of people's suggestions from the comments, and so please comment below what you think here. And if you would prefer to see me do more reviews that actually have video on them, well then, we can perhaps make that a thing. So, Luna Varuga, I keep saying Varuga because the Japanese characters for it are Varuga, but it's Varuga is how it's pronounced in English, I presume, is about a tomboy princess that lives in the kingdom of Rimbel. And Rimbel is under siege. There's an attacking army that's coming, and this princess is going to do whatever she can to save her kingdom. And so, plot happens, and somehow she becomes the brain for the demon Varga. So her name is Luna. His name is Varga. The Luna Varga thing makes sense. So, now, by becoming this demon's brain, this gives her the power to grow a giant T-Rex out of her ass, which she is then perched atop and controls and allows her to do some pretty interesting things. It looks a little something like this. Now, if you could see the video, I'd show you that, but it basically looks a little bit like this, where she's perched atop. And then just imagine a cool video here where there's a dinosaur walking around and it's blowing fire. And now imagine it really looks cool. You can only really, because there's no video here, it's all copyrighted and everything. But imagine if you'd had something more than that and it's walking around with a girl attached to its head. Sounds like something you'd want to see, right? Well, too bad. Anyway, the show is a 4-episode OVA. It released in 1991, and it was based off of a light novel that ran in the late 80s into the early 90s, which I'd never read. I never even knew about until this OVA. Now, what's really neat is that you might be hard-pressed to find anime that feature dinosaurs. Now, I don't mean Pokemon dinosaurs, I mean actual anime that have dinosaurs in them. And I had originally planned on doing some kind of Jurassic Park theme. Seemed a little hacky, but I was going to do something that had anime with dinosaurs in them. And I found that there was very few, and if there are, they're ones that kind of don't have, and maybe it's just a one-off type thing. Which is a shame, because I could really picture some cool anime that were kind of a Land of the Lost thing. That feels like it would be like a cool thing to have, but yet it doesn't. So this anime does feature several dinosaur characters, namely the Varga character, which is this giant kind of T-Rex. It's a bit more like Godzilla, honestly, but it pretty much looks like a T-Rex. And so what ends up happening is she has this power, and now she's able to defeat armies and stuff, and so she's very powerful. Now this other guy, Bato, who's like a one-eyed guy with no pants on, he's like the Juggernaut, and he discovers that she's part of this demon, and he's like on a quest to like capture her or kill her or something like that. So he just spends 4 episodes just like running through cities like the Juggernaut and like bashing down walls and everything like that in order to get to her. He's kind of almost like a comedy relief character, but he does kind of show up. Now at some point, once she changes back into her human form, she discovers that she now forever has a dinosaur tail, kind of like Toru from Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid, and which is funny. I wonder if that's where they got that from, if it was like an homage to that, because it looks very similar. So that's kind of funny. And now I'm thinking about it, I wonder if the whole thing is kind of a little wink, wink, nod, nod to that kind of obscure series. I kind of hope so. That'd be funny. So anyway, at some point, her little sister, Luna's little sister, the little princess, gets captured, and they have to go off and get her. and there's some cool stuff that happens. There's a surprising lesbian scene with a shapeshifter, and a giant purple dinosaur comes out that is the villain, not unlike Megatron, I guess. So it is really fun, or Barney, I suppose, if you see him as a villain, depending on how your childhood went. So it's a pretty funny show. What's interesting is it definitely shows its age. We live in such a golden age of Japanese animation right now that it is interesting to look back at these anime from the early 90s that are like a time capsule. And it's fine, there's nothing wrong with it, but we really are spoiled by today's standards in animation, what we get in music, what we get in voice acting, what we get in the quality of our animation. So if you ever want to really appreciate what we have now, watch one of these. Again, it's not bad. I maybe give it like a 5.5 out of 10. It's got boobs, it's got, you know, a giant dinosaur, what do you want? But it is really interesting to see how far we've come with these kind of animation things. So check it out. It's worth a watch. Maybe just the first OVA or whatever. If you like it, you can keep going with it. So let's open up this Megatron. Now, I really wanted to feature him because I wanted to do something that was dinosaur related. And I've had this guy sitting in a box for ages. Now, I did not plan on keeping him in the box. I am not a guy who does that. In fact, this box is actually quite damaged. I don't know if you can see. It looks like it got water damage, maybe. But I was looking at this figure for some time now. It's not cheap, but I had sold some other things to get it. And I thought it'd be a lot of fun to... This is probably... Beast Wars was one of my favorite shows in end of high school, early college. And it was something me and my brother watched together. And so it really has a kind of a special place in my heart. And so I never had the original figure. It was too expensive for me at the time. But this figure, which is probably 3 times the price that one was, when it came available, I knew I had to get it. Now there's a masterpiece version of this which looks incredible. Check out Jobby the Hong's video on that. It's hilarious. He even has David Kaye do the voice. He actually had him come on and do the voice for it. Mine isn't going to be anywhere near that, but next to that masterpiece version, this one looked really good. So let's crack it open and take a peek and see if the hype is worth it. All right, we've got a knife here. Now, the packaging on this is all from the Kingdom line, which is a Netflix version of Transformers. Kingdom was okay. It was, in fact, there was Kingdom, there was Siege, and then there was Earthrise. It was a 3-part thing. Honestly, if I were you, I would just skip straight to Kingdom and watch that if on Netflix. If you're a fan of the original Beast Wars show, basically it's a really fun way to see all of those kind of characters interacting together, and that's a lot of fun. Seeing, and I don't want to spoil too much, but seeing Starscream and his crew interacting with the Beast Wars crew is fun. If you remember that episode where Starscream's ghost came and took over Waspinator. Alright, so he's in there pretty good. You can see he's got some stuff in there. I'm going to try and just see if he'll slide out. Okay. Let's get him out of there. I don't want to break anything. Yeah, alright. Nothing else in there, so we'll put this aside. Some fairly hefty instructions here. I suspect I'm going to need. And you can see he's attached to the back here. We'll have to be quite careful. He's got some like suspenders here we're going to try and cut off. This is a pretty sizable figure. This is a big figure. He's hefty too. Like, he's got some weight to him, which I guess makes sense. He's a goddamn dinosaur. But let's get him unhooked here and see how that works. Alright, now I gotta figure out a way. I don't really want to rip the packaging, so I'm just gonna kind of fold these here and get him out of there. Again, I want to be quite careful not to damage anything. These little tiny T-Rex arms. All right, there we go. He is out of his... Oh, and there's a card on the back here. All these Kingdom figures come with a little secret card here. It's usually like a sticker and a card. Let's take a look and see what it is. This one is Black Arachnia, which is awesome because I think she's awesome. And so then it'll have her card on there too. What's weird is it seems to be a random card. Like you think, well, why isn't his card in there? But it's not. It's kind of like, again, like random ones. So kind of awesome. We have Black Arachnia, and so we actually had her card that came with her. And I wanted the sticker on it. This is actually a sticker that peels off, and it's pretty cool. So these cards are kind of neat because I like stickers. I'm a sticker guy. So let's take a look at this guy. Holy jeez. This takes me back. And now everybody has to do the voice. When you see Megatron, you have to do the yes, yes. Oh man, that's cool, man. That is as close as, that is like cartoon accurate close. What I like is that his like crab claw thing has a real hand in it. I don't believe the other one did originally. I think it was kind of just like a pincher, so that kind of looked weird to me. Like I felt bad, like the guy doesn't have any hands at all. He's got a dinosaur mouth and a crab claw. Like I wouldn't want to be trying to like use the restroom as him. Now, somebody had told me when you get this guy, it's got some hollow pieces, and you can kind of see here. YouTube might edit this out. This might be too extreme for YouTube. You can see there's some hollow pieces here and there, and also underneath his arm. It's just basically a cavity there. And so I went on the old internet and was able to order up some pieces that essentially act as fillers for those pieces. And I've had these sitting around for months, and now I'm going to put them on. They are little itty bitty pieces. Looks like something out of Walter White's, but they're little itty bitty translucent pieces here. And basically they just push into those hollow pieces to fill in the gaps and just make it a little less obvious. Now, I will say, I've seen some versions of these, and maybe I have a kind of a crappier version, but these are more translucent, and the ones I've seen didn't really have translucent plastic. They were more solid plastic. However, this might help match it. So what I'm going to do here, I'm just going to push it into that cavity, and that looks pretty good. Now you can see it in comparison to the other one. It just kind of fills that void. And I actually think the translucent was a smart idea because it helps blend in, and if the color match wasn't perfect, then it would be obvious, but with it being translucent, it kind of takes on the color around it. So that actually works pretty good. So let's put the other one on there. Now I've also heard that when you do that, you fill in those gaps, those giant holes that are kind of cavities that they put in there. It also tends to strengthen the toy as well and make it less prone to breaking. So as you can see here, I'm just going to line that up and push that in. And it just pushes in like that. And because it's just filling in that hollow gap, it doesn't do anything with the transformation. It doesn't change any of that. And so it just kind of fills in. It makes it just look a little higher class. And for the couple bucks I paid for it, I'm really satisfied with that. And again, it kind of just gives a little bit more strength and fills that in. I'm going to do the one on the bottom here too. And so you can see the before, what it looks like. After, I might have messed this up. I might have pushed it in too far. I don't know. It kind of doesn't fit as good as the other ones, I'll be honest. I might have to mess around with it. It looks okay, but I think I pushed it in too far, and now it's kind of stuck there. I'm not sure if it'll ever come out, and I'm not sure I'm gonna mess with it too much. Oh, will it come out? I don't think so. But let's just take a look at the transformation to see if it's something I can do. We'll see if it's something that I do really want to see him in this dinosaur mode. All right, you guys convinced me. Let's make it happen. All right, come on, this is awesome. That is so cool. You can just hear, yes, that is awesome. I've heard there is a blast effect port in there too, so if you want to do that, pretty awesome. Look at that, hell yeah. Thank you for joining us for the Copyright Strike special. It's been a great time. I love talking anime with you guys, and Transformers, and beer, and alcohol. Until next time, kanpai. Cheers, kanpai. Yeah, that's good stuff.